Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg at one point almost became the richest man in the world. His net worth has fluctuated over the years, but nothing like what we've seen recently. In September 2022, we saw his net worth peak at $140 billion. However, just last month alone, he has lost more than $90 billion. Zuckerberg is known for his success with Facebook. This has even led some people to consider him the founder of social media. So why has this company suddenly taken a turn for the worse? Meta was once valued at $1 trillion, but is now less than a quarter of that. On November 9th, Meta announced it was going to lay off 11,000 people at the company. This came a week after the Twitter purge where Elon became the new CEO. Zuckerberg was forced to speak on the matter, claiming the layoffs were unavoidable. I view layoffs as a last resort, so we decided to rein in other sources of cost before letting teammates go. Overall, this will add up to a meaningful cultural shift in how we operate. We'll roll out more cost-cutting changes like this in the coming months. Meta has spent a large sum of money on the metaverse since it was announced. This includes more than $100 billion spent in research and development. To give a better perspective on how absurd this is, we can take a look at Sony. Sony makes $15 billion in revenue every quarter and spends less than $5 of that on R&D. This money isn't just exclusively for the metaverse and applies to the entire company. Zuckerberg has made the decision to continue burning billions of dollars for his metaverse dream. He has stated previously that his only intention is to help people stay connected. Today we are seen as a social media company, but in our DNA, we are a company that builds technology to connect people. The metaverse is the next frontier, just like social networking was when we got started. In order to meet his high requirements, company reductions had to be made. His Reality Labs team was reduced and company hiring was put on pause. Employees were also stripped of some of their perks like laundry and dry cleaning. Zuckerberg would scale back his budget and even reduce his real estate footprint. He also revealed that he plans to hire fewer people in 2023. The decline of Facebook isn't just limited to their employment numbers. Back in October 2021, Facebook officially changed their name to Meta. The virtual space was an untapped market and would be their one chance to reinvigorate the company. Facebook was failing to capture the attention of young audiences, and their metrics were getting worse by the day. Their daily active users had finally dropped for the first time by the end of 2021. The company was already showing signs of failure even before the November layoffs occurred. A big contributor to Facebook's decline was their competitors. It wasn't just TikTok who was hurting Facebook by taking their users. Apple's policy change on privacy was almost the nail in the coffin. iPhone owners were now given the chance to decide what apps they would allow to track their information. This was a huge blow to a company like Facebook, where user activity was heavily monitored. Meta's value dropped over $200 billion when the privacy changes were made. The more people that disabled Facebook's tracking, the harder it was for them to advertise. A significant amount of Facebook's revenue was directly coming from this private information. While the iPhone update really cut into Meta's profits, that was just the start. Since then, Meta has been on a downward spiral, latching onto the metaverse. In just 2021 alone, over $10 billion was spent on metaverse development. The funding would go to divisions of Facebook that focused on VR and AR technology. Reality Labs would become the main one Zuckerberg would focus on. Reality Labs had over 17,000 employees at one point, each of which would work with different VR tools. Their members would also rapidly increase as more people were forced to stay at home. The Metaverse division had now grown quick. In fact, too quick by Zuckerberg's admittance. While Zuckerberg was busy focusing on growing his Meta team, he had overlooked a glaring issue. The economy was getting worse by the day, and inflation was becoming rampant. People didn't have any money to invest and were too occupied with the state of the world. Meta's stock suffered alongside other tech companies, but their problem went a little deeper. Zuckerberg was well aware of this and had this to say: "I'm going to watch our business performance, operational efficiency, and other macroeconomic factors. This will give us the ability to control our cost structure in the event of a continued economic downturn." Zuckerberg, as of now, still believes that Meta is underestimated as a company. With billions of users and a growing community, Facebook still has potential. Facebook's work has historically been important, and Zuckerberg is confident that they will continue to lead the social connection technology. In order for him to achieve this target objective, he needs to build trust. Zuckerberg and trust are complete opposites like oil and water. Previous scandals have made it hard for the average person to put their faith into him. This same feeling can also be seen even amongst his employees. Zuckerberg is notorious for being hard to work with, especially when it comes to his Meta team. The team's goal has shifted from making the best product to just making him happy. Horizon Worlds trailer was supposed to be Zuckerberg's proof of concept. You can imagine how unhappy he was when everyone turned it into a joke. The graphics were severely outdated and left much to be desired. Zuckerberg took the criticism and released an updated version shortly after. But it's not just the consumers who don't like Zuck's Metaverse app. The employees of Meta are required to use this app during their work hours. The vice president of Meta team was even forced to address the lack of use amongst employees. We don't spend that much time in Horizon, and our dogfooding dashboard shows this pretty clearly. Why don't we love the product? We've built so much that we use it all the time. The simple truth is, if we don't love it, how can we expect our users to love it? Employee usage of Horizon Worlds would start to be tracked daily. The vice president would make it a point to have managers consider this a top priority. Horizon Worlds is supposed to be the company's main metaverse platform. The website describes it as a social experience where you can play and explore with others. The different plazas and locations we saw were designed with all these concepts in mind. The man in charge of overseeing this world is Meta's very own Vishal Shah. Vishal has been very vocal on where Horizon Worlds' progress stands. He has admitted that the app continues to suffer from quality issues. Current feedback from users suggests that the buggy performance is ruining their experience. The main and biggest problem people have with the app is the onboarding process. Users have felt both frustration and confusion when trying to enter the world. It's hard to imagine an even worse issue than your customers not even wanting to log in. Vishal has said that Meta will continue to make quality improvements, and that the app is still a multi-year journey. While Meta is struggling to keep their customers happy, other companies are on the move. Apple is in their direct line in terms of virtual reality competition. Apple is rumored to be working with 3 headsets that will be launched next year. These will go on to compete with Meta's very own Quest Pro headset. Somewhere down the line, Apple would like to forego the headgear and put their software into glasses. Zuckerberg has a lot on his plate, and his wealth isn't as certain as it used to be. With a majority tied to Meta stock, his wealth is dependent on the success of Metaverse. He has stated multiple times that virtual reality will be the future. While some may criticize his research costs, people will one day understand his vision. Until Zuckerberg gives people a reason to believe in him, his company isn't going to go anywhere. The dream of a virtual reality world is still a dream, one that Mark has yet to bring to life. Let me know in the comments what you think about Mark's Metaverse. Do you believe he will be able to perfect the connection between the two realities? If you were Mark Zuckerberg, what would you have done in this situation? Also, check out some of these other videos on the screen to learn the story of other millionaires.